People think I'm going to soccer ball juggle. They get 2 touches and the ball goes over there, and they get 2 touches again and the ball goes over there. That's not a good way to start juggling.
Within these skills as well, the force is a big part of it. Like, I'm just pumping here and my hip flexors are already burning.
There's a reason that people don't want to go to the gym. They buy the membership and they don't go because it's shit. This is not exactly what your sport looks like, but this is going to donate to your sport, and we can make this more demanding than your sport so that when you go and do your sport, you realize, oh, like, I'm just a little bit better.
Welcome to the first video here on the New Athlete Project YouTube channel. Of course, we have Keegan, the founder of New Athlete Project, and we have Marcel, coming from the Czech Republic. I'm Lucas.
So the documentary went live yesterday, and the one that we did before that started here in this place before it had a roof on a rainy day about a month after now, 3 years ago. So it was like November, 3 years ago. And that day was interesting because we did a little session. We didn't know exactly what we were going to do, but we were going to film something, and we decided, okay, we're going to run up the hill over here. So I was running it, and as usual, I was making things up as I went. So we were waiting for the camera guy at the bottom of the hill, and I was like, okay, it was freezing cold. Everyone's standing there in the shorts. I was like, all right, we're going to do push-ups and squats until he comes. So like 10 push-ups, 10 squats, 10 push-ups, 10 squats. He's not coming. 10 push-ups, 10 squats, 10 push-ups, 10 squats. He's still not coming. We're starting to get like pretty serious. Probably done like 10 minutes of continuous push-ups into squats. Then he arrives. It's like, okay, race to the top. So we race up this hill when it's all muddy, all the way to the very top. Now at the top there's cabins, and the road's been improved a bit. But at that time it was just mud, and we were working our way to the top. And the guy shot off, and I was like left way behind. But I was like, this hill's really long and it's wet. So in the end, I did okay getting up the hill. It started like that. We went around, and then by the time we got back to the gym, I was completely gassed, and I was like, okay, now we're going to do boxing. And I hadn't put gloves on for more than 10 years. And it's like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go. And so we just start sparring. And Jay, his father was a national champion boxer, ranked 5 in the world. And so he knew what he was doing with boxing, and he's like sparring all of us, and he's got good control because he knows what he's doing. One of the other guys, Keldon, who now lives in Vanuatu next to the village there, he's got a boat business from New Zealand, was a national level judo player, and he was powerful but had no control. And he was like throwing these deadly punches. And that was how boxing started. And I was like, so it was like all the lactic acid and then the adrenaline of like, I don't know how this is going to go. It was these same gloves. But it was actually really freeing because I was pretty intimidated, and I was pretty like, I don't think I actually really want to do this. Like, I was kind of scared because it was like, they were throwing hard. I haven't punched in a long time. I'm older than all those guys. But we did it. And then after it was like, okay, well, that was a good experience. I'm glad we did that. And the footage was cool for the stuff and everything. But you guys have done some combat today. Yeah. We did some the other day. Yep. What was the feeling when I first was like, just, put the gloves on? I don't really say too much. I don't want to make too much of a big deal out of it, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's like you get thrown into the cold water, and you really have to trust your instincts somehow, and it really helps if you have a wide base of movement abilities, and of course you have to be able to trust into your body. But in the end, it was a great experience because it wakes you up really. And afterwards, we had also a great session doing other things, weightlifting, I think it was. And you are really there, and you can exert more force after. It was really playful in the beginning, and it turned into a great workout in the end. And this was my main takeaway from this sparring session.
What about you, Marcel?
It was Keegan handed me the gloves, and I've never done boxing before ever. So I just was feeling this feeling inside of like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna go against these guys. Like, I've never done this before. How is this gonna go? Are we just gonna like play a little bit, or I'm gonna get punched in the face? And yeah, in the end, it was good. Like the more of the things I try, and that's the whole idea of New Athlete, is trying all of these things and exposing yourself to all of these different sports and disciplines that make you feel really uncomfortable at first because you've never done it before, and you're here surrounded by the guys that we just met yesterday with Lucas, and I'm like, oh, this feels a bit weird inside, but then it connects you much faster, and then there's no judgment, and there's no it's not really a competition. Like we're just playing and training together, and you get to feel yourself into it and have a go at it for the first time. And now I'm excited to try it again. Like I really suck at it, and I could, going against Matteo, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I was just like going into him, and I thought that was the way to go about it, but then it's like, no, I was being too aggressive, and I was just getting punches left and right, and yeah. Then we did some of the pushing and some of the wrestling, and that was a lot easier to me for some reason. But yeah, that was a lot more fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, less complexity in some of
Yeah.
the push hands and wrestling drills that we're doing. But yeah, it's being on the edge like that is it's a beautiful thing, and yeah, continually going back to it. There's always a way that you haven't done before, whether it's like jumping off. You really like jumping off the high cliffs and this, but if you haven't done that stuff, like that's a crazy edge for people. And it doesn't have to be that you're really risking everything. And yeah, just yesterday, we've been working also on the acrobatics, and with the acrobatics, it's like Marcel is so far ahead of everyone else that it's the shoe switches, and so if you're not good at one thing, like chances are you're going to have something else where you've got strength, and that's, I think, also part of the reason why it's easier not to get down on yourself or not to judge yourself too much or not to worry too much that, okay, they're going to think I'm terrible because we just saw you yesterday, like doing the flips and teaching everybody and that stuff. So, and that, the way it works with like multiple disciplines like this is everyone's going to be humbled, but at the same time, everyone's got their opportunity to lead and to express. Athletes, in my mind, when I look at an elite athlete, especially in team sports, they almost always have at least two of the three big physical archetypes in the skills area. So they're either acrobatic background, which was like Anthony Minicello was the fullback in the rugby team that I worked with, and they called him the cat because he would always know how to land. He looked like you when we're doing the wrestling stuff, where you're like always able to find the floor in a good way. Because of that acrobatic background, he was really good at jumping up to catch the ball in the air. He was comfortable in the air, and he was comfortable finding his way back to the floor. And he was also really good at the ground game. So he had that acrobatic background. Then there's the baller, the person who plays a lot of ball sports. There's a guy that plays basketball and baseball and golf and volleyball. And you see Steph Curry's like comfortable with heading the basketball and playing volleyball with it. Michael Jordan kept playing baseball and golf. And almost always there's like multiple sport background. Kobe Bryant played a lot of soccer. LeBron James played a lot of American football. So you've got the acrobat, you've got the baller, and then you've got the dancer or the dancing fighter. Yeah. And I really think that you need to put dancing and fighting together. And some people don't like it. And you see people when there's footwork drills on Instagram, there are people like you're dancing. Like this is terrible when it's like boxing training. Yeah. And it's like, no, like that's what it is. Like if you're a really good dancer, you're not going to be an amazing fighter without being a good dancer. You see these Ukrainian boxers, the Ukrainian heavyweight guy. Have you seen like the clips of him? His footwork stuff is amazing. Like he's dancing, he's like showing off, but he just shows he's on perfect balance. You can see it with the Kazakhstan boxers. Lomachenko's father made him take years out of boxing, or like start his boxing career basically with the Ukrainian dance, like the traditional Cossack style dancing. Almost always, there's like two of those three have been developed. So for ball sport athletes, they're going to have the balls to a reasonable extent, but rugby players are generally much better if they've done a lot of basketball or a lot of Aussie rules is like one in Australia. But then generally they're one or the other as well. Either they could do a backflip, like, and they had a trampoline that they played on a lot. Mm-hmm. James Tedesco was the other great fullback who's like a legend in Australian rugby league as well. He came up to my place in 2014 during the Christmas break. Players in Australia usually, at least in those days, never trained during that break. And these guys came to a training camp at my house where we trained like all day for 4 or 5 days during their break. But we had a trampoline there as well. And he was the one who was most comfortable on the trampoline. Another player, Mitch Moses, who also played state level, was also comfortable on the trampoline. Those athletes who naturally have the flips, or they score a try and then they do a flip, tend to be much higher level. acrobat, baller, dancing fighter, facing the thing of like, okay, I haven't done any real combat stuff. Cool. I haven't done much ball stuff. Cool. I think if we face those three things and try and take them as far as we can, then everything that we do with the force then has so much more meaning. Like, 'cause you still got to be strong. And the balls thing has been another one, like Marcel, that I'm offering you the opportunity into, or like it's part of new athlete. Like now the balls journey is like 5 months, 6 months, something. Like, how are you feeling with that side of it?
I'm enjoying it a lot. When I was growing up, or like in my early parkour years, like soccer and basketball were the two sports I was just refusing. I was closing my eyes on it. Don't really have any particular reason. I just like really didn't like the look of it. I wasn't very good at it, and I was always forced to play it on like PE classes, and I was like, oh, I just want to do the flips, and this is not my thing. And there was a big mindset shift, actually opening my eyes and trying it out myself. And like started in January doing a bit of foot juggling with the hacky sack. I was terrible at it. Like I have a very good feeling for my feet and for my legs from like the bottom when I'm jumping to things and balancing on things. Like that's ability I developed greatly. But when it was the ball was coming from the top of my foot, I just could not do it at all. Like could bounce the ball twice, and that was like my top. And now kind of getting to the point where it feels comfortable. Like I can do 10 bounces on one leg, 10 bounces on other leg, bit of the foot juggling. Now I bought myself a soccer ball like a few weeks ago for the first time, and that's a big personal step for me.
So switch the identity a little bit.
Yeah.
We buy a soccer ball every time we go out.
Dida.
Yeah. No, it's good. No, I feel like with these three archetypes, especially with the combining the dancing and the fighting, in both there's a lot of rhythm involved, and with the ball stuff, you really challenge your body in a certain way where you have to shut off your brain.
Yeah.
In some sense, it doesn't mean that your brain isn't active because you're learning a new skill, but it means that you have to stop overthink how you move. It means that you go in weird places because the ball is in some sense unpredictable. And this goes for the hand juggling, this goes for the foot juggling, especially when you juggle with a tennis ball or something. Everything is so unpredictable, and it introduces the chaos into the equation. And it really like makes you play and explore movements you never really explored before. And we started the conversation with talking about new athlete, and now you, Keegan, you introduced the three archetypes. Maybe you tell us a little bit more, or maybe we can talk a little bit more about the training system you developed, you observed, like picking from all the sports, and explain it.
So there's this idea in the modern time, you think of the best athlete and you think, oh, okay, Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Messi or whoever comes to mind. Mm-hmm. Some people maybe are more from like Conor McGregor or whoever. I don't know the MMA world as much to say who's the best, but it's difficult, right? When you want to say, oh, who's the best athlete? Yeah. For you, maybe who comes to mind is the top, someone amazing in the parkour world, or
I'll imagine a different person than most people probably.
Yeah. And Mucci was having kind of this argument with Daza. Justin Mucci, one of the top coaches in the network, is talking with his other coach there, who's a high-level wrestler, like top American wrestler. He's like, yeah, wrestling's the number one sport. Like, this is the hardest sport. This is what the real athletes do. And it's like, yeah, that's true. Like, wrestlers are amazing because they generally can do a decent bit of acrobatics. Yeah. Plus, they have the body awareness. Like, there's a dance component to it. Like, you can make a pretty strong case for it. You can make a pretty strong case for parkour athletes with their landing skills and just how completely freaky that is to any other athlete. If you go to another athlete and you go like, okay, you have to be really good at this sport within 3 months. Mm-hmm. Like, parkour is probably one of the most intimidating to be like, yeah, there's no freaking way. Like, It's like gymnastics, but on the concrete, with the higher consequences, and probably even more so than wrestling, like probably even more intimidating than wrestling. But then there's this other idea of like, whenever you choose one of these disciplines, you turn your back to a lot of the other disciplines, and by turning whatever you turn your back to, that becomes the weakness. Yeah. And so the best athlete can't really be the one who's at the top of anything, because they're going to turn their back on so much stuff. Like Messi's fantastic, like absolutely phenomenal awareness with the ball, the passes, the kicks, the body awareness. But can he wrestle at all? You know, can he do the trampoline? I'm pretty sure he can dance. But can he weightlift? And so really, like, the way that we look at the modern athlete is so limited. And in nature, everything expresses itself maximally. Like we were talking about this over breakfast this morning, of like, we're looking out here at the chickens and the roosters. Like they have their form of athleticism and they express that maximally. There's no couch potato chicken who just decides, no, fuck it. Like I'm just going to be the fat, lazy one. I'm just going to stay at home. I'm not going to be ready to, fight the other rooster if I have to. Like it's in the genetics to express maximally. Same with the goat, same with the horse. And we can train them. Humans can train animals to expand their capacities. But us as humans, like our ability is to be able to expand into whatever we want. And everything else is expanding maximally into its potential, into its genetic potential. The trees putting as many seeds out as it can. The fruit tree produces as much fruit as it can based on the soil, the light. So it's in our nature to express ourselves maximally. And so when we put ourselves in a certain discipline, it's cool to see that challenged. But then the more that we go into that, the more we're turning our back on other stuff. And like I was saying before, the best athletes tend to have developed at least 2 out of the 3 of the acrobat, the baller, and the dancing fighter. If you develop all 3 and you expose yourself to different types of force training, so you're able to lift some heavy stuff, jump, sprint, lifting with the different objects, I think there's a new type of athlete that even if they want to specialize, for an existing athlete who's like a rugby player, I'm talking to one of the rugby players in Australia who just finished their season. He will be a better player next season if he embraces this philosophy for 2 months and does a bunch of new stuff that he's never done before. It's not going to fatigue him in the same way that traditional like rugby training is going to fatigue him, but he's going to have new abilities. There's a lot to get across in trying to understand. Like, it's like a baby, a 3-year-old. They're not going to play really high level soccer because the foundations aren't there. They're not fast enough. They don't have enough balance. They don't have the time and coordination. That same thing is there for the professional athlete of like, okay, well, the soccer player, like he's terrible with tricking. He's terrible with flips. Like, of course he can't express himself maximally. Like he's nowhere near the kind of soccer player that he could be because he didn't develop that whole side of himself. And the same like the 3-year-old. Like that's what our professional athletes are today, where they're missing too much of what they could be. And in the end, we're only looking for like 3 to 5% improvement. And being 3 to 5% better than the opposition, you're the greatest of all time. If Usain Bolt was 3 to 5% better than the other guys in the sprinting, that's how you set a new standard in sport. And so for these complex sports, if we can set that new standard, you get like 100% improvement in your boxing. Today, you probably improved 100%. Like you get like such big jumps when you take on rope flow. Like you think back to when you first do the rope flow, like, okay, I feel terrible with this implement in my hand. I feel really uncoordinated. 3 months later, you feel comfortable with the rope and you're looking for that to give you 1% improvement in your rugby, 1% improvement in your soccer. Like it's gonna give you that. Because you can feel, okay, I'm just a tiny bit more connected to my body and the timing and the rhythm and the way I can find space. So the backflip, it's not going to like completely transform Messi or Ronaldo or one of these upcoming soccer players. But if all of the players at 13, 14, 15, these clubs are trying to produce, because it's big business. It's like, raising horses. They're going to sell them off to other clubs. They're going to be better if you put the trampoline in there and they can flip forward, they can flip back, they can twist. You just give them that fractional difference that comes out in the game where they head the ball and they land on balance and then they make the next play. Everyone's fighting for that fraction of jumping a tiny bit higher or running a little bit faster, or at least like that's the main conversation, the strength and conditioning conversation. But then there's this whole other field of stuff that's left undeveloped.
I think it's important, like a lot of people will say, like when they hear this, like it's like not a replacement for strength and conditioning, and it's also not that you replace one system with another and you make the athlete train all day, every day, 24/7, because like the main argument I feel like against would be like, you cannot be good at a lot of different disciplines at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you have to specialize, you have to focus.
Yeah.
And it's true when you think in the way the modern training systems are developed. Like they are very rigid. And I think what New Athlete and we here are doing differently is that we introduce the play aspect. Like that we are not trying to push somebody into a system or ourselves into a fixed system, so we are able to explore. Of course, systems are extremely valuable.
Yeah.
But once you have a good base to be able to play, you can put the play in the foreground and the exploration, and then you have the system running in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the courage as well. Like it's where you're going with the players. Like so many athletes, they stop playing the bigger game. Like this is another way to talk about it. If we are talking, because you jump between like different scenarios and different people. There's the everyday person who's stuck on the couch and they think, oh, I should be going to the gym or I should be doing my 10,000 steps every day. And there's like punishment to go and do some bullshit under the blue light that they fucking hate. Like New Athlete is a solution to that of like, hey, do something fun in your lounge room, do something fun with your children. Like find out of these 27 skills, there's got to be something. And look, we've made it really easy for you to start. You can start with one ball and you just do like this. And then if you keep doing like this and you give me 5 minutes a day on this thing, within 3 months, you're going to be, within 1 month, within a week, you're going to be improving, and it's going to be addictive, and you're going to want to do it because it's in our nature. Like no animal opts out of physicality. Humans aren't meant to opt out of physicality. We know it's not right to opt out of physicality, but so many people are opting out because the system sucks. And that's the thing, is like everyone's thinking, I need to be more disciplined and do something that I hate, that breaks me. And it's like, no, there's a reason that people don't want to go to the gym. They buy the membership and they don't go because it's shit. But I was trying to push people into that as well. Of like, okay, in the end I get to look like Sam Sulek, or I get to look like Arnie, and so we have these ideas. Then it's all the protein powders, all the steroids, and then there's like, okay, no, 99% of the population is opting out of this conversation of like physical excellence. 99% of the population is opting out because it's like doesn't make any sense. The paradigm doesn't make any sense. So we have that conversation. Then we have the elite sport conversation. So for the elite athlete, they need to turn their own sport into a bigger game. So I'm saying that anyone out there who is already a professional athlete or who wants to be a professional athlete, consider filling in some of these huge gaps. Like if you never learn to crawl, then you should go learn to crawl. That's what I'm saying. If you never learn to backflip, like it's a foundational ability that an athlete should have. And if you think, okay, I want to be at the pinnacle of athletics, do some dry land ice skating. Like we've been talking about, it makes sense to have this ability, and you go way beyond what's needed in your sport. This is what Wolfgang Schulhorn, the world's best skill expert, in my opinion, the method that makes the most sense, the research that makes the most sense, is like you have to go way beyond the demands of your sport, so that when you're doing your sport, when you have to do a half turn or you do a 180 turn to get a ball in soccer, it's nothing because you're used to doing 540s. So it's perfect. You're on perfect balance. It wasn't challenging. Versus the other athlete who only gets the sporting stimulus, it doesn't take them far enough. The time that they have to turn 270 and go the other way, and they just stumble a little bit, and then they miss the play. That's what you want. You want the athletes to perfectly on balance. So you make this bigger sport. That's what, if you look at the Japanese, I've been doing a lot of research on the Japanese athletic development, because the Japanese started skating. There's a little bit of like parkour, breakdancing also. They have very high standards. They take on skating. A few years later, the world champion, the Olympic champion is a Japanese. There's the next prodigies that are coming up. They're all Japanese. It's like, well, why do they get to do this? The shortest player in the NBA is Japanese. There's an undefeated fighter who's one of the top fighters in the world at the moment, Japanese. There was an undefeated MMA guy. I'm not saying that they're the best at everything, but they're overrepresented. They're by far the best marathon running country outside of Kenya and Ethiopia. Kenya and Ethiopia have special circumstances and genetics, and there's a element to that. But the whole Western world likes running now, and everyone's doing these marathons and stuff. And Japan is so much better at running than everybody else. So why is it that they're doing this? And what they do is they don't do what I'm talking about at all. They don't play the multi-sport game. Once they reach like high school level, the baby stuff is quite diverse, like their primary school level and preschool. But then once they get to high school, once you choose something, you just do it. It's not a hobby. Like you're like, if you're doing it, then you're doing it to be excellent at it. And they do like all their weekend, they'll do 8 hours of baseball Saturday and Sunday if they're on the baseball team. And they might not even play for their first few years. Then they have one team. They have a senior team in their high school. So if you're doing baseball, you could be training like 8 hours a day, Saturday and Sunday, and never getting a game. Like your first 2-3 years of high school, and then maybe you play in the senior year. Like it's their level of commitment is crazy. But then they turn it into a bigger game by doing a more diverse range of drills. Like if you look up how Japanese high school runners are training and how their baseball teams are training, they're playing this bigger sport within the sport. LeBron James was able to play all 5 positions, or he does play all 5 positions. So he's playing a bigger game. The skill positions, the quarterback, he has to be able to throw as well as be able to run a bit, as well as be able to. So he's playing a bigger game. In rugby, there's the skill positions. They pass both ways. They're likely to run the ball. They end up playing a bigger game within the sport. So they become the highest paid players, and they're the ones that have the most skills. So any athlete who wants to get to the next level, that's part of it as well. Like play the bigger game within your sport. Look at the other athletes in your sport and all the things that you think you can't do. Even if you think you're never going to do them in the game, doesn't matter. Go beyond your game so that when you play the game, it's easier.
Yeah, you don't know how it's going to impact the game, the new skills that you acquire.
Yeah, you eventually surprise yourself of like, no, I actually am going to do that stuff in the game that I thought I wasn't ever going to do in the game. But just to chill to start with.
Yeah, like another thing to circle back to the skills is like you can put 2-3 months into that new skill and get to a level 1, level 2, get a basic awareness of how to do that thing, and then you can put it away and not look back. But it's not like you're gonna lose it. Like if you stop running and you stop lifting, you're gonna lose the strength or you're gonna lose the stamina in a couple of weeks. But the skill that stays with you, like once you do the repetitions, it is in your memory, it's in your mind, in your muscle memory as well. It's there and it doesn't go away. I proved that to myself when I had an ankle injury and I was not doing parkour for over a year. I haven't done a single flip pretty much. And then once my body recovered and I was able to do it again, like I could just pick up all the skills again. And like the thing is, I could train the skills in my mind as well. Like I can close my eyes and visualize myself of what it feels like when I actually do the flips and then I do the acrobatics. And that's a very underrated way of training some skills as well. Is when your body can't do them, you can still train them within your mind, but you need to expose yourself to actually know what it feels like to do the skill for you to be able to imagine it.
Yeah, I was doing we were working on, I don't even know what it's called, like some kind of forward cartwheel. I was practicing it last night in my mind of like how that's going to go next time I try and do it. Yeah. Because we did some here. It was like I was getting some progress and have some awareness, but it's, that's the thing with the time thing as well of like, okay, you're going to go to the gym for the next 10 years. If you focus on bench press and squats, then you might get good at bench press and squats and your other lifts. But then if you stop training, you're going to lose a bunch of that. You'll still be okay. Yeah. But you really, like what you're going to have to show for it is bench press and squats. Whereas if you were to do a different skill, you're doing 15 minutes of skills every time you go to the gym and those skills are on rotation. And instead of doing an hour of gym where you're wasting a bunch of time, you do, strength work, you do 15 minutes of skills, then you do your strength work. Maybe within that also do some jumping, some Olympic lifting, like make it a bit more interesting as well. But after 10 years, like when you become a father, when you're at the picnic, whatever, like you've got stuff to play. You've got stuff to play with your friends. If there's a game of tennis on, if there's a game of basketball on, whatever your baby wants to do, your child wants to do, you've got skills to teach people. If you want to be the most in-demand personal trainer, if you want to be an athletic coach that can really help athletes, like, okay, I can help you with your bench press and your squat. Cool. Like, the athlete doesn't care. You can teach them flips and juggling, and at the moment athletes don't care as well. But that's the thing that that we're looking to change. Athletes do care. They do instinctively understand this stuff much more than coaches do. But it will take some time to get some adoption of this philosophy, and that's why we're taking the time to explain some of it here.
Yeah, I feel like what you said is very valuable, because it doesn't take much effort to maintain a skill once you have it. And it's like, it's only, you have to get the momentum going. Like, you have to put in a little bit of effort in the beginning, be consistent with it, but once you have it, you can maintain it easily. Like, if you do it once per week, once a month, I don't care. It's like you have it for the rest of your life, and you can feast on it, And the beauty is that also, like, only a few sessions of the rope practice, a few sessions of acrobatics will teach you so much that it's already the micro improvement, the 1%, the 0.5% maybe. And it's gonna make a huge difference. Like, each session will show something you can get better at.
If you know nothing, it's just a few sessions, you already learn something. It's the biggest step of going from absolute zero, of knowing absolutely nothing, and then picking up your first few skills. I think it goes into the mental side as well, like proving to yourself that, okay, like when you look at someone doing the juggling and you're like, oh, I can't really do that, I can't really imagine myself do that. When you look at someone doing the backflip and you're like, oh, that looks impossible, I could never learn that. But once you start, once you pick up the first skill and you prove yourself wrong, like, oh, like if I put myself to this, I can pick up this new thing. And the more skills you learn, the easier it becomes to be the beginner and try the new skill again, as well as it becomes easier to pick up the skill because you have more ability, and the ability to learn new things is more within you, and it becomes easier to sort of embody that feeling of okay, I really suck, but if I just keep doing this for a little bit, I'm not gonna suck as much. And that can, like, it starts with the athletic stuff, and we talk all about athletic stuff, but I think it interlaces into your real life as well. Like, if you're really confident you can do new things and learn new things, like, it's gonna be much easier for yourself to go and try a little bit harder at the new job, or start a business that really scares you, or go travel to that country that you don't really know if you can speak the language and find your way around. Like, I think that's the big power of it, that how it translates into the real life as well, and into relationship with other people and relationship with yourself.
Yeah, 100%. It's kind of the secret mission of a lot of this with New Athlete, and before with Uncommon Success and Real Movement. Like, the secret mission is the empowerment, where you stop being fearful of the future because you're capable. Yeah. And that's where you start to feel more capable, your anxiety goes down. That's how this stuff works. Yeah. Even just putting the gloves on today, as you said, like, the biggest thing is just put the gloves on. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, and then once you put the gloves on, the next time you put the gloves on, it's not the same thing. So you have a little bit less anxiety. Yeah. On some level, in your subconscious, you're carrying that anxiety with you of, like, if someone asks me to put the gloves on, I don't know what happens next. Or if someone starts throwing punches at me, like, I have no idea what that feels like or what that looks like. Yeah. You got thrown, people threw punches at you today. They were wearing gloves and it didn't, like, split your face to bits, but you got a feeling for it. Matteo kind of tried to choke you out, and you, like, got a feeling for what that's like. You didn't die, and so you carry a little bit less anxiety into the rest of the day, and it feels great. It feels, the feeling that you get after that, the feeling after you get a backflip, and these are the best feelings and the best moments.
Definitely.
I think I would love to hear questions that come up from this. I think we're going to cover more also about force and about optimizing body composition, how to jump higher. As much as we're talking here on the, like, why skills are valuable, why you need that acrobat, baller, dancer mentality and the value of that. It is only one piece. The reason my rugby team was the champion team was, a big part of it was I wanted to be have the team that produced the most force fastest, and I've been obsessed with that side of the equation as well. I just know that there's more people thinking about that side of the equation that are completely ignoring all this other stuff that we want to bring that. But I'd love to hear questions that are coming up from this, things that you would like to hear discussed, feedback. And yeah, we're going to be doing these, I think, each day or at least a few a week for the next little while here. So yeah, big thank you to Lucas for being our cameraman and podcast instigator. And him and Tom have been working behind the scenes. If you haven't seen the documentary, the official documentary that Tom's made there, it's really cool. It showcases some of what we did here. And we've got another one coming up with Lucas from the next event that's on in 2 weeks. So we've got men coming from all over the world again to get involved in this next one. And then looks like the next one's going to be Bali Time Chamber. I haven't even told you guys yet, but looks like we're going to have Bali Time Chamber private to do the next event after this one. So
Can't miss that one.
yeah, so it's going to be special. But it's Bali Time Chamber is already amazing. This location's already amazing. But what brings it to light and to life is what you can do there. And one thing is the actual skills that you have and what you can express, how much weight you can lift. And the other thing is the mentality and the openness that you bring to it. So that's the real dream and vision with this, is to bring a new openness to the world of athleticism. And it's a big challenge to me. I've been closed to a lot of stuff in the past as well, and I'm still opening to different elements of this. But yeah, that's the big dream, is like express ourselves better physically, and have the performances go up, but also have that openness to take on the new challenge and be taught and be in a different position, uncomfortable position. I was thinking about, like, if someone wants to juggle, it's a terrible thing to do to start foot juggling. If you just start with the ball, it's going to be a mess, because as you say, like, I'm comfortable pushing down, but I'm not comfortable pushing up. Yeah. I was thinking about that during the chat there, of like, what if you were to touch with your foot, maybe come this side. We'll go on the other side. Go on the other side of the box, so then you can see. Yeah, kick to the, like, just basically play a game with picking targets within that box. What do you think about if you'd have played with more of this to start with? You got to stay on the ball of the feet now.
Yeah.
So don't let the heel touch. Yeah, alternating touches. Go for maximum speed. Yeah, and then just hold your one foot up there, hold the balance, and then now bring in touching the top of the box as well. So touch the bottom, touch the top, touch the bottom, touch the top. Yeah. Alternate between the other legs, yeah, and then keep swapping between them.
Yeah, this one is already difficult.
Yeah.
To keep switching.
How do you think this would have impacted if you'd have done some of this before or alongside doing your?
It definitely would have made the start easier.
Yeah. You can also like kick the face. So you got 3 targets on the face there. You got the air vent, the white one, like here. Boom, boom, boom. So you got three surfaces there. You got the top, the bottom, and the middle. This is what we're looking for within your athlete, of like, if you break the rules and break away from all the old stuff, like, how can you learn it faster? Rather than people think I'm going to soccer ball juggle, and they just start juggling and they get 2 touches and the ball goes over there, and they get 2 touches again and the ball goes over there. That's not a good way to start juggling. There's a lot of different ways about the level 0. Maybe we'll do the next conversation about level 0, but just this came to mind when we were talking about it, so I wanted to show it as well and just kind of give an idea of this thought in motion.
Yeah, but like within these skills as well, the force is a big part of it. Like, I'm just pumping here, my hip flexors are already burning.
Yeah, yeah.
And just staying on my feet fast.
Yeah.
It's like jump rope, speed work.
Yeah.
With that added sort of skill factor of it, you need to be precise.
Yeah.
Stay on the toes.
Yeah.
Quick. And how many repetitions you get in 1 minute?
Yeah. Because you don't have to go chase the ball.
Yeah.
You get that feeling. You're still making your body hit a target in a time. It's not exactly the same, but it's going to donate. And that's a lot of the idea of what we're talking about. Is this is not exactly what your sport looks like, but this is going to donate to your sport. And we can make this more demanding than your sport, so that when you go into your sport, you realize, oh, like, I'm just easy. A little bit better. Yeah. That's the game. Thank you. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, give it a subscribe, share it with a friend. This is a new channel. Any support is much appreciated. Look forward to seeing you at an event. We'll have some more details dropping about that soon.
Exciting stuff. See you next time.